Hey everyone! Today I was originally going to be doing a deck tech on my Edgar Markov deck, but it isn't really quite at the point where I want to do a full deck tech of it, because, I don't know, I haven't changed it enough from, like, the initial deck. Like, I've changed probably, like, a good, like, solid third to half the deck, but I just still don't really have a good feel for it, like, being my deck at this point. So I might postpone. I'm thinking I am going to postpone that deck tech probably until Rivals of Ixalan comes out and all the vampire stuff with that in January. So stay tuned for that. That was my only other deck that I was like planning on doing a full deck tech video anytime soon, because I've done 4 deck techs. Then there was this one, and then my 6th deck is Not So Great Wolf Friends, which was just about my werewolf tribal deck, which is more of a shell of a deck than a full deck itself. So yeah, I'm not going to be doing a deck tech on essentially a placeholder deck. But until then, I am going to just be talking about my plans for future decks and like what I kind of want to build and like what I'm thinking about getting all set up and such. I have my master list of new deck ideas and such I have here. So I kind of have a thing where, like, I know it's kind of cliche, but like go for the thing where it's like eventually I want to have like every a deck for every of the one of the like 21 possible, not 21, 31 possible, no, 31? 32 possible deck combinations, color combinations. So because it's 5/5 for the face 5 colors, and then the 4 color ones without those 5, then 10 dual, 10 tri, and then 1 for colorless, 1 for Ruberg. Yeah, 32. Math is hard. But I don't know. It's aesthetically pleasing for me, and it also forces me to not build everything as 4 or 5 color decks if I try like not to repeat color combos. I mean, I won't stop myself if like I really need to. Like, there's another Ruberg deck that I'm probably gonna be building that's on here. A lot of these are kind of mostly hinging on the fact that because I'm still actually like a relatively new player. I've only been playing about a year and a half at this point. I don't have great stuff in terms of like mana base support, because a lot of my other decks are already a lot of colors and they just can't support what they're doing. So that's fun. But essentially what I'm thinking about so far is I got a long list of just like ideas like decks I like kind of want to. And of course if you have like any ideas for decks that you might like, you think I would enjoy, or commanders and stuff you'd like to see me maybe build a deck around, feel free to let me know. And let me know what of these decks you might want to see in the future relatively soon. So that's there. Words that mean things. But yeah, no, the other thing that is like limiting me building these decks is that like I'm okay with making a subpar deck, like it doesn't have all the pieces or though, but I just don't have the commanders I need. So that's there. But yeah, let's just jump right into this. So first up, like, I definitely at some point want to build just like a very dedicated Spellslinger deck. When I started the game during Shadows of Innistrad, but I really got into the game with, like, I started getting good during Eldritch Moon, and I played a lot of Spellslinger in Eldritch Moon Draft. Like, I drafted blue-red way too many times. Probably like 75% of the time I was drafting blue-red, because it was also like always open. I wasn't like forcing blue-red, but also blue and red were just very good in that set. There were very few dud cards. But yeah, no, but I've just always had a love for like blue-red Spellslinger. So like I was thinking about I could do like a Mizzix deck, but like Mizzix is kind of cliche. There's like a few other ones that like I'm looking at. But one thing I was actually looking at is actually switching it to Grixis and using Kess Dissident Mage instead. Just like, I don't know, just different feel for doing Grixis, and Kess is like nice and powerful while not being like super scary and OP like Mizzix. But yeah, no. One thing I really do like is that I really like Tribal more than I should, because I like a lot of more like lore and theme decks rather than just like pure mechanical goodness. And those are very creature based, and I would be neat to like move away from that a bit. But speaking of creature decks, I need a cat deck. I didn't get the 2017 cat precon because vampires. And I don't know, I didn't have enough money to get more than one at the time. But I do want to build a cat deck at some point, because cats are amazing and beautiful and fuzzy, and they're your friends. I also want a cat in real life. I wasn't allowed to have one growing up since, like, the rest of my family was allergic except for me. I want a cat so much. One thing I do want to do is I'm thinking either Bant or Simic Investigate. Like, I started with Shauser and Strahd, and I loved the Investigate deck. Like, that was probably my favorite deck early on. And right now there isn't really a lot of support for Bant for just Investigate in general, since it was only in one set and not even the entire block. So I'll probably look at making that the next time it comes around, just because there isn't just enough to do with it. I'm thinking, the reason I think in Bant, because there isn't much in white that's good for Investigate, because like Thraben Inspector, probably the most used Investigate card outside of like the limited format. But I was thinking Bant so I could use Rune as my commander, since a lot of the Investigate effects are ETB, and I could just like flicker a lot of the things a lot and get a bunch of Investigate triggers, and yeah. But like, if I was to build that now, there just aren't enough Investigate cards that would just turn into a, oh, let's make a flicker deck with like a light Investigate sub-theme, and I want it to be a bit more like focused on Investigate. Likewise, probably like my favorite drafts format so far since I started playing was Kaladesh. Kaladesh was so amazing. But I just want to make like a Shanky Energy deck. I don't know who I want my commander to be for this, but it's like you want to be across like enough colors, since energy was across everything. I'm not thinking 5 color, but a few ideas were like I could do Rune, but that doesn't give me red, and there's a lot of good red stuff in there that I would want. Another idea was just Yidris, because like all the white stuff, lightweight energy cards weren't amazing for like EDH and stuff. And just using whiteless, I don't know, Yidris, just like, I don't know, but just whiteless, like, Yidris is okay. I mean, would it probably be better as like Vile Smasher and someone else? Yeah, but if I wanted those colors. But the main colors is honestly that I would want would be red green or red blue red, and anything else is just kind of a thing. But I just don't know who I want to do for that. Like a good like artifact commander would be good, but there's there's famously no like good like blue-red artifact commander, so I might have to wait for that a bit. Next thing is that I kind of want to rebuild Gatewatch Monster. Gatewatch Monster was the first EDH deck I built. It was terrible. It was honestly at that point a glorified draft deck, but I had fun with it, and it was kind of like my introduction to the format. I deconstructed it later because it was just terrible, but what do you do? Yeah. I do want to do like a Spellslinger or like similar like Enchantress deck, which is like just very focused on like kind of like the green-white side of the enchantment stuff. I don't know, I like Spellslinger a lot. Like, I personally identify as Spellslinger, but yeah, I just kind of like want to figure that out and want to have like a solid like Enchantress deck. On the enchantments theme, on the other side of that, one thing I've been playing around with constructing is Daxos curses. Daxos is all about enchantments and such, and like he lets you do things where the problem with like curses decks is that like, yeah, you weaken players, but once they're eliminated, they don't do anything. Like, you lose a lot of your work and stuff, and you're left in the dust. But with Daxos, if you don't know, Daxos gives you an experience counter every time I think either you cast or an enchantment enters the battlefield under your control. But then you can pay some mana to create an XX enchantment creature, where like, or I think it's technically star, where star is equal to the number of experience counters you have. So so even late game after you've cast all those enchantments, you'll be able to late game pump out these really big elementals and actually clear out the game. So I've been playing around with that. I still need to get like my hands on like an actual Daxos returned, but I'm excited about building that one. Like, I feel like all new players go through this point at some point earlier in the Magic, where like I tried to like, I really wanted mill to work a lot better, but I would like to like just make like a solid like mill deck, be it like Phoenix or something like that. Because like, I also just like the idea of like mill and commander, because I don't know, it's dumb to go for that, but I still want to go for it. Words that mean things. I do want to like kind of do like a Grixis or something like along those lines of like a kind of like a cycling madness like combo deck, where it's all about kind of just like working my way through my hand, and like a lot of cards that like trigger off of you discarding things and like things like that. So I kind of want to figure that out and like make that work somehow. But I haven't really given much thought to that. I do want to do Minotaur Tribal, because I don't know, Minotaurs are cool, and I like a lot of like the very aggressive punchy things, but also with the kind of like sub-theme that Amonkhet brought to Minotaurs of being like hand attack, where like, one thing I like about my tribal decks is that I want to have like the what is that tribe good at, and like exemplifying that. And for Minotaurs, I just kind of want to build this like very hand attacky like aggressive deck, and that would be fun. But I don't know, I have the commander for that one, but I don't have a lot of the Theros Minotaurs, which I kind of want to grab first, and there's not that many Minotaurs to begin with, but I'll figure out eventually. Next up is another tribal deck, because I can't stop myself, and that would be Elf Tribal, but I want to do not like the standard like Mono Green or like Black Green. I want to do Blue-Green Elves with Yuzuri Claw of Progress. What Yuzuri does is that he wants you to play like a bunch of little creatures, and every time you play like a creature of 5 power, either like 2 or 3 or less, you get an experience counter. And at the beginning of your upkeep, I think you get to put X +1/+1 counters on one of your creatures, where X is equal to the number of experience counters you have. What do elves have a bunch of? A bunch of small creatures that are usually, yeah, just very small. So he just gets a lot of his like elf buddies. Also, he's an elf, and then trains them all up and punches them and goes in there. So a nice kind of like variation on like an elf ball type deck. So that's what I was thinking for that. I do. Okay, two of my favorite members of like the Gatewatch. Like, I actually rather like the Gatewatch. I mean, I'm like in the position where like, for as long as I've like known the story, like I've known the Gatewatch as a thing. Like I started towards the end of it with the Gatewatch, and I've never really had a problem with it because I don't know, I didn't really experience the story beforehand, and oftentimes like I've reread like a lot of the story, but it's like I don't have the same like connection to a lot of the characters, like from story to story, and there isn't kind of like a lot of that continuous things. I like the more continuous plot, but this isn't about my Vorthos preferences. But I really want to build a Nissa deck. I'd probably make it mono green, even though she's now like kind of Simic, but it just like mono green Nissa, just have Nissa Fastwood Seer as the commander, just go. Likewise, I also want a Gideon deck, because like, I don't know, I really like Gideon for some reason, but yeah, but Nissa and Gideon, I just love, which is kind of funny, because they're often considered like two like the least popular of the Gatewatch. I still want to build a Lifegame deck. I've been trying to figure out what I want to do with like, I was thinking Lycia for like a Lifegame Voltron-y deck, but I just couldn't find any. I've been working that and it's stumping me right now. But I just don't know what I want to do with Lifegame. I like the idea of Lifegame, but now here's two. Okay, because I don't know, I just like tribal decks. Sue me. But I also like more obscure tribal decks. I kind of want to do Naga tribal because I don't know. I like Nagas. I like snake people. Snakes are cool. Not snake tribal. Naga tribal. Why are they different? I don't know, but I kind of want to do that. But there isn't a whole lot of support for Naga tribal. Nagas don't really have a lot of well-defined features right now. Then meanwhile, also rat tribal. Just get a bunch of rats and put them together. Mono black rats. Yeah, rats. This came up on a Tumblr post. If you're part of the MTG Tumblr community, you might know this. But I think it came up on Sarkhan Volkswagen's thing. It came up just playing 5-color alternate win con turbo fog, and I kind of really want to build it. So you go 5-color, and then you just go like kind of like a basic turbo fog shell, so like a lot of damage, blanking, and protection effects and things like that, and then just jamming it full of a bunch of alternate win con and support for those cards. Kind of like the idea of, sure, most of them probably won't work, but if you have enough alternate win conditions, one of them might work. So, yeah, 5-color, alternate win condition, turbo fog. It's gonna be great. But that requires like a lot of collecting of like older like alternate win con cards that I don't have yet. Like things like Maze's End and excuse me, like Approach of the Second Sun, and is it Lab Maniac? That's the one. If you like mill yourself, you win the game instead. But yeah, no, things like that. I really like equipment, like a lot, like more than I should. Like I overvalue it a bit during drafts and such, but I kind of want to do like an equipment Voltron deck, whether it be a who's that one cat? The cat that makes more cats if you equip her. I don't remember, but cat travel. Yeah, I kind of want to do just cat, or not cat travel, but like equipment Voltron-y. Like, I might make that my cat deck, because like the cats have gotten like the equipment sub-theme in there now, and I might do like the equipment cats or something like that. I don't know. Another travel deck, Sumi. Actually, the rest of them are travel decks. I'm terrible. I love travel decks so much. I don't know, I just like a lot of my creatures being like on a theme and things like that. I also just like because I don't know, they're easy to build. But I want to build because like my pet deck, 5-color human travel, is run by General Tazri, who isn't wonderful in that deck because she's all about allies, not humans, but she's a human that gives me all 5 colors, so I'd use her anyway. But I would like to build like an actual like ally deck using her at some point. I do want to build just a colorless deck that's like probably Eldrazi, but that's a lot of work to make work. So either that or a colorless deck built around the Hope of Girapur, because that's just because I have the goal of doing a deck for each of the tribes of Innistrad. I do need a Spirit Rebel deck. I am probably going with, at this point, Okagachi, Vengeful Spirit, from the Dragon deck from Commander 2017, and just running like 5-color, like, Spirit Politics. So, that'd be fun. And then, while not technically one of, like, the tribes of Innistrad, I do want to build an Angel deck. So, either that would be Mono White or maybe Boros. I'm not sure yet. Probably Boros. I don't know what at the commander would be, but can't stop yawning tonight. Oh, but yeah, those are generally kind of like things that I have like nebulously floating about. Oh, also not listed, that I haven't updated this since Ixalan came out, is I need a Dino deck. I need a Dino deck, but I'll probably wait until like Lobby Ixalan hype's done, just because everyone's building a Dino deck right now, and I can wait. But dinosaurs. So, that's kind of like generally what I'm thinking about, like, but feel free if like you want to be like, hey, well, you should be focusing on this deck, because it sounds cool, and I want to see a deck of it. But let me know, because, I don't know, these are all decks I want to build at some point. I just haven't had the time or the pieces yet, and I don't know. It's a lot of things to think about. I love like deck techs and things like that, or not deck tech. Well, I like doing deck techs, but like brewing decks and things like that. So yeah. I mean, this is all EDH. I've like looked into getting some other construct formats, but they just don't appeal to me. They don't have the same like flexibility and that like Commander gives, in because I like a lot of like more lore themed decks. Those formats just don't do it as well for me. So we'll figure that out. I'll probably get more into standard once Magic Arena comes out, just because it'll give a better platform for standard. I don't dislike standard, but I don't like standard enough to like go out to a game store to play it. Like, if I'm gonna be going out to a store to play Magic, I better be drafting, because draft is for life. Yeah, that's the #1 deck I want to draft, or I want to build, is the deck that is open during the draft I'm in. So I draft way too much. although I haven't drafted much lately, which is sad. I just haven't had the chance to. I'm kind of far from a game store right now. One near me only drafts on Sunday, and buses don't run frequently on Sundays. That it ends up being like an hour and a half bus ride, and I don't have a car, so that's fun. But yeah, so not a tech, but once I update my Grandpa Markov deck, it is called Weekend at Grandpa Markov's. I'll do a full deck of that, but I'll probably be until like January, after January, when Rebels of Ixalan comes out and I update it with all the new vampires and stuff. Well, I hope you enjoyed just kind of like hearing about me rambling about decks I want to build. Yeah, no, please give me your feedback about like what you want to see and things like that. Alright, well, I will see you all later, and I hope you have a wonderful night or day.